With efforts to raise hands-on skills for various technicians from masons to other professions, the German Chamber of Skilled Crafts Koblenz, in partnership with the PSF, the Work Development Agency, the Association of Contractors and the National Capacity Building Secretariat, designed a skills training course for TVET students in Rwanda to enable quality and relevance of education, particularly in TVET. The success of TVET in any developing country can be considered a key indicator of the country's advancement in development. Therefore, Rwanda is considering best practices from developing partners.
The project is implementing the dual system in Rwanda, which has a long tradition in Germany. It's adapted to Rwanda, and it's about putting up practical skills and education by sending the students on site during the academic year.
The system promotes areas such as workplace-based learning, close cooperation between the public and private sector, while students are linked to private companies in the country, starting off with the construction sector. As part of the government's strategy to bridge the skills gap through TVET, the WDA, the Private Sector Federation and the German Chamber of Skilled Crafts came up with an innovative skills course designed under the German GOS system, which links up the private sector with the TVET students, meaning they work 50% on the job and then study 50% in the TVET institutions. Now, this is to help equip them with stronger skills to enable them find employment and also be entrepreneurial at the end of the course. In this regard, the Association of Contractors aims at providing practical modules by its member companies to the students in the courses. This is evident on one of the big construction sites in the heart of Kigali city, where we found a group of highly innovative youth. They are students of IPRC East and work on the construction site as part of their course in the institution. But how are the students set to benefit from the training? Meet Ashimwenshiti Adeline, a 22-year-old student learning painting as part of her course at IPRC East. The internship I do gives me the experience of being a qualified painter. Because my work of coating paints is helpful to me, I love this and it is important for my future.
bimfitiye umumaro mu gihe kizaza ni byiza cyane ku bantu biga muri IPRC East.
This work is important for IPRC East students.
Biradufasha iyo turi.
Having this kind of work is more helpful than just being in class. The experience we get is helpful on the field. She has been able to work in different construction companies as a way of building her painting skills in the field. In the organization that gave me internship, I acquired new means of painting that I did not know. I learned to paint wall master, cord sticks over the wall and other things. One of the aims of the program is to ensure that the students are able to find employment and be able to create jobs after the course. During these days after my graduation, I am going to look for a job in companies as I have worked in, because they know how I work and my abilities. If I raise enough money, I will start my own workshop. We also caught up with the student trainers at the construction site on how the students have been able to benefit from the project.
Abanyeshuri mu gihe bari kuri site baba bakeneye.
When students are on work sites, they need the knowledge that they will use when they are no longer here.
Bazaba bagiye gukorera.
We give a student the knowledge he or she needs, especially in what they want to study.
This German trainer is full of praise for what the students have achieved. I think what students have achieved in the short period of time is fascinating. The motivation of the students is present. They are very motivated and try to implement everything they are being taught. Some of the students who had limited skills have been able to learn within a year through the supervision of their trainers.
I am not discouraged because I am still doing the work I'm supposed to do. Those who are watching me are doing so to see if I have learned what I was taught. Compared to the way he started, there is a big difference because these are people who had no prior experience in construction. In the year that they have spent here, there is an obvious change. We therefore have no doubts that when they go out into the job market, they will be self-reliant. And what they learned here will be useful to them.
From the start of 2015, the training partners started to define the course content, lined up the partnership with construction companies and trained the course trainers. Funded by the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, 32 students of the one-year practical course system graduated at the IPRC CSC Koblenz last week, which is aimed at equipping students with the right skills for the job market. It was a massive celebration as the guests were treated to Rwandan culture. Now, the first 32 students have just graduated here in Chibongo, as you can see, 12 from painting, 10 from tiling, and 10 from bricklaying. But what other options do these students have out there in the job market after the graduation? The private companies, especially the Association of Contractors, has been successful at linking the first students with private construction companies in Kigali. Speaking to the president of the association, some of the graduates will immediately get jobs after the graduation.
The level of understanding what we need to do in construction will be clearly understood and well done. Already these people, most of them, because they have proved they are capable, where they have practiced, I think they shall be completely employed after this session of education.
The Work Development Agency Deputy Director explains how the program is set to boost Rwanda's education sector, especially in TVET institutions.
Today, politics about education, especially technical and vocational education and training, is to bridge the gap between the needs of the private sector and what is being offered in the training institutions. This system of the dual training that happens both in schools and in company bridges that gap. It is another value to the curriculum because the time spent in class gives a lot of theory and gives the basic practicals. However, the time that is spent in companies also gives advanced technical skills to the trainees. So for us, we hope and we are really very sure that in the next future we won't have those gaps between the needs and the training.
He further reiterates the government's strategy on having the system expanded in all districts in Rwanda.
We are very much excited. And we know this is not a system that is not easy because it requires, beyond the training institution, the coordination between the training and the industries or the private sector. But we started this for us to have really the insight on how this should be practiced or how it should be conducted, and to know what are the implications, being the cost, being the human resources, being other different resources that are required. But after this, the government has put up a strategy, the education sector strategic plan, where it is explained that this will be scaled up for us to get those gaps bridged.
This being the first project of the training system, the principal of the IPRC explains the value addition of the project to the students' education.
The project we did with the Germans aided us in teaching the knowledge of crafts and techniques with the use of a new method of teaching students on site, where they spend 50% of their education on the site and the other 50% in class. Usually this is prominent in Germany. In Germany they refer to this as a dual training system. Here we are used to teaching in class and then students go out later for internships. Now for the new method we collaborate with the organizations in preparing the lessons and they take part in giving lessons.
With more than 20 years of experience in international TVET projects, CSC Koblenz is an integrated partner of the partnership Rhineland-Palatin. And in Rwanda, it aims at developing a demand-driven and practice-oriented education for crafts.
We started on IPRC East in the second phase. If we get a second phase, which will be decided next year, we will probably roll out in whole Eastern Province, and then it's the government to decide if we extend to the whole country. Focusing particularly on our project, our courses are one-year courses. When you compare it to Germany, in Germany you have 3 years courses, so it means the level of specialization is even broader. And this should be the target also for next phases, maybe with CSC Koblenz or maybe with other partners.